here with Jerry Stanford from GoffstownToday.com and our new guest from Goffstown Main Street program, Mr. Sullivan. And we want to speak with Sean today about, well, we're going to ask him a little bit about his past. We're also going to ask him about what his plans might be. And we're probably going to ask him what he thinks about coming into the biggest section of Goffstown Main Street's life in the village, and that happens to be the Pumpkin Regatta and the weigh-in. And here we go. Jerry.
Similar on the other side, like in the other room.
Hi, Sean.
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Welcome to Goffstown.
Well, thank you. Great to be here.
And of course, welcome to Goffstown Main Street program.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Now, what brought you to the Goffstown Main Street program?
Mostly the Goffstown Main Street board. They put out an advertisement looking for an executive director, and I answered the call, and it happened to be exactly what I was looking for at the time. And we got talking, and it turned out that a lot of our missions were aligned, so we were fortunate enough to get together, and here I am, and ready to move forward and help out the program.
Well, again, welcome, and welcome to one of the busiest weeks of Goffstown Main Street. As we know, next weekend, the weekend of the 18th and 19th, is the Pumpkin Regatta.
Yes, coming up. Very exciting, very exciting. Huge event for the organization and a huge event for the town.
Now, have you ever been to any pumpkin festivals? Do you have any experience with any of the festivals in the area?
I do have experience with pumpkin festivals. When Keene was first putting together its pumpkin festival, it was very active because I was a broadcaster in that area working for radio station WXOD. And back in those days, it was a small event. They would have 2,000, 2,500 pumpkins, and it was a little community type of thing that happened in the downtown area. And of course, it grew over the years, and at one point in time, they were attracting 50,000 pumpkins from as far away as other nations and things of that sort.
Don't they hold the record for the most pumpkins lit at once?
You know, that's one of those things that's hard to answer unless you got a Guinness Book of World Records right in your hand, because there's so many folks that every single year, I think Boston at one point in time held the record.
I think they try and go back and forth.
Yes, exactly.
Could be. Could be.
But that's the exciting part of the event. Is, do we have the record this year or don't we? Or that's and it's really in the trying and the small town showing the big cities what togetherness is all about is really part of the excitement of that.
I find it interesting that you say it's the exciting part of the event. One of the things is unique about our pumpkin festival is Saturday we have the weigh-in.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if the winner from the Topsfield Fair is going to be here. I hope so. I'm not going to say who it is or what the pounds were. That's a huge pumpkin this past week. And of course on Sunday we have the regatta.
Well, the folks at the Pumpkin Growers Association, I know, have been huge supporters of this event, and they have made sure that we've gotten some really large pumpkins in order to kind of hollow them out and make those boats and get out there on the river and so forth. And that's the part that I'm looking most forward to, is to see everybody out there on the river and floating in the pumpkins.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If you're interested, we've filmed those last few years events. Go watch one and see what it's all about.
So we don't have to pay for that.
You know, I already have, and it's exciting, and it's unique, and I absolutely love it. It's really about what a small community, what that puts on something that's unique and draws in people from all over. It's really what it's about, and it's perfect. I mean, as far as pumpkins, it's New Hampshire. It's about a little bit about agriculture. It's a little bit about Goffstown and its history and the river. And it has a lot of elements that just speak to what Goffstown is.
It does. It's very nice. I love it. Jerry.
It's one of my favorite events of the year. I love the regatta. I love the idea of the large pumpkins. The idea of them floating. That's what touched the heart for me the first time I saw it. I couldn't believe they were going to put those large pumpkins in the water and they were actually going to float. Because I didn't understand any of it. So I think it's a unique event.
Yeah, very special event.
Who else puts giant pumpkins in the water and floats them down?
That's exactly it. Nobody.
With the fire chief, the police chief, put them in a pumpkin and throw them down else does that.
Well, that's part of the other thing too. Is not only is the Pumpkin Regatta a celebration of the agriculture, and the history, and everything else that is Goffstown, but it's also a celebration of its people.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got folks that are leaders in the community and supporters, folks that are like for instance the police and the fire. These are the folks that support us every single day. These are the the unsung heroes in our society. And here they are, floating down the river in a pumpkin, and for that brief moment in time, they are the stars of the day, and they deserve to be. And that's part of the the thing to bring the kids out and remind them about is they watch these pumpkins float down the rivers, because now you get a chance to say, these are the folks in our town that help keep us safe. This is a chance to see those folks and meet them and really appreciate what they do.
And that brings me to another thing about our community and Main Street. We're a very involved community. Our police chief, our fire chief, public works, town people, we're all involved. As you know by the board for Main Street. The small businesses. Have you ever been involved with small town?
Oh, absolutely. When you were talking about New Hampshire, New Hampshire is a community of small town communities. At one point in time, I was doing marketing and public relations for the timber industry. And when you work with communities where their main income is logging, forestry, and agriculture, and you're talking about areas that are mostly wooded areas and not a lot of development, they're small areas. And you get a feel for how they work, who's running the town, what the dynamics are, what the personalities are, sometimes what the politics are.
Well, we won't talk politics in Goffstown. We don't do that in Goffstown. No politics in Goffstown. We don't talk about that.
I just talk about politics in terms of it's all good, everybody's just trying to work forward and move a community into the future, and that's really what it's about. When you see an event like, the Pumpkin Regatta and some of the other events that they have coming up, like the tree lighting, these events really help bring the community together. And when you start talking about the different elements of it, you're talking about a board of directors for, the Main Street program. You're talking about, town selectmen, fire chiefs, police chiefs. These are all the people that are helping to do that. And to be able to work with these folks, it's a very unique opportunity, because you really get to see what is good about a community and what's good about its people.
True. I have to tell you, kudos to the Goffstown Rotary this past year. They came forward with their first annual car show.
Yes.
I have to tell you, next year there's not going to be enough room if the people come back and it explodes. It's between that event and the event that's coming up this weekend, my goodness. I mean, Goffstown Village is definitely on the map. But you've had quite a bit of experience. You get back on radio as well.
I have. My background is that I started in radio as an intern, worked my way up to being a manager of radio station networks, and that career lasted me 22 years. And over that time, I became sort of well known throughout the business communities. And a lot of business folks used to come to me and say, hey, can you help us out on a project, or can you help us out in this thing that we're doing, or we have something special over here, can you lend a hand? And it's the nature of the beast. So when you're working with community organizations, I help you, you help me. Let's build a community together. So at one point in time, I found myself doing more work for the folks on the outside of radio than I was actually doing my own job. And I accidentally opened my own business that way.
Okay, you accidentally opened your own business? Okay.
Absolutely. And it started off working for small bookshops and pizza places and fitness trainers, and then it grew to, I had clients that varied from the LA Kings, Microsoft, and the US Army. And at one point in time I just said, you know what, it's a little much. And I really want to get back to my roots, which is helping smaller businesses and helping community organizations. And that's when I answered the call from the board of directors at the Goffstown Main Street program. And it seems like a great for me, a great segue to get back into that community work I really enjoy.
Very nice.
I don't think it's fair to ask this yet, since you're, what, a week on the job?
Okay, yeah. I think I'm 8 days, if I did.
Okay, say over a week. Do you have any future plans? Do you know what you would like to see?
So that's that.
You know, the interesting thing is I have a sort of a unique approach towards how I'm going to do this position. This job, this organization, and its board of directors, they've been doing a wonderful job for many, many years before, you know, the name of Sean Sullivan popped up in the hallways. The reality is it would be a disservice of mine if I were to come in and say, okay, here we're gonna change a lot of things. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's a new approach and so forth. Really, from the get-go, my job is going to be as observer and watcher. I'm really going to learn. That's really what my job is right now, and I'm going to learn about what it is that people want and how they want to approach things, what Goffstown is all about, and what do people really want to highlight, and how do they want to move forward. And and as I start to progress in this position, really it's going to be about empowering people and inviting people to come on out and volunteer for the organization, and also to not only volunteer but to get involved, even if it means just maybe you want to help out with 1 or 2 events. That's part of what we're going to invite people in to do. Sit down in the offices, talk about their ideas, maybe vet some things out and see what we can do to help move Goffstown into the future. So really, those are my plans, is to kind of sit back and be an observer, a learner, and a listener. And after I've done that, and I've been educated about the area, the position, and the organization, then we can start talking about more future plans and kind of a second phase where we're going to go from there.
Now, do you plan to? I know it's a part-time position.
Yep.
Do you plan to have any specific office hours where people can stop by and see you?
I'd love to have that in the plans. Right now, we're kind of taking it as it comes. I do have some other things that I'm working on at the moment, but I'm also working to clear those things out and to absolutely make a commitment so that folks will be able to say, oh, he's going to be in the office at such and such a time, at such and such a day, and I can go talk to him. But at the same token, I'm also a very technology-oriented guy. I'm working with Microsoft, so to be connected by email or be able to be in contact by cell phone and have that constant contact, whether I'm in the office or not, is also going to be a part of the makeup that is part of the position now. So that way people can always be in contact with me.
That's great.
That's great. That's good. It's always good to know that. Have you been around town yet and introduced yourself to everybody?
No, I haven't introduced myself to everybody. Part of Pumpkin Regatta and a couple of the events that are coming up after that, Halloween and handing out candy. As a matter of fact, I've already worked a thing out with the Rotary Club where we're going to try and set up a little bit of a haunted house.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, to have some fun with the kids.
Right in front of Main Street?
Yeah, right in the park. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So
I'm scared already.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
There you go.
I need somebody to hand out some candy. That's right, you can be away too. But we'll be away from Halloween. Get you up or something. But the reality is, it's impossible to meet everybody within the first week you take a position. I've walked up and down Main Street. I've gone to the different businesses. I've introduced myself to business owners, and so far everybody that I've met has been absolutely phenomenal. Wonderful people. I haven't heard a negative word about the program in town or anything. Yeah,
You won't. It's a great program.
It is. It's not only a great program, but it has a lot of people adding into it that are great people themselves, and that's what makes the program so great. So, and I'm experiencing that really for the first time right now, and it's a unique position to be in, and it's a wonderful position to be in because you really get to see people at their best.
We have an amazing number of businesses in this community. No matter what window I look out from Apothoca here, And the businesses, I think, just around the corner, they're so involved in the community as sponsors of baseball, sponsors of the
Eagle
regatta.
Scouts, we just ran across that with we did an interview last week with an Eagle Scout where businesses in town had donated to this project.
Right, the sponsors for that. That story will be coming up shortly.
So we'll just go with
And, you know, we've got the Ford dealer in town since day one, since that new Ford dealer, Rick Keaton, unique
let's just
Ford.
think $8
Joe Martin,
plus
who's
maybe
been there
worst
since day
case
one,
scenario,
because he's a fairly good size, he's a major sponsor, I
Then the
believe,
ribbon.
of the Pumpkin Regatta. And he gets involved in other things in town. I mean, it's just about everyone in this community. And it's one of the beautiful things about that is when we like to say the phrase, and I say we speaking for the businesses, Robbie Grady and I always used to pass the words on.
That's 12.
Shop local,
And then I think we
support
could-
your local business because
Absolutely.
they support us so much. And you know, it's okay to go to the big box stores and buy what you want, but you know what? If you're going to spend $2 or $3 to get that far, why not just go to our local place and buy what you need to buy? Not to say that it's going to cost anymore, but I can tell you one thing that I found out many others, you get great service, whether it's on flowers, whether it's from the hardware store, whether it's from the printing shop, whether it's a meal. You know, we've got some great places to eat here right in our village. That's the beauty of it. And I know you're all over that, so I can tell.
Well, you know, the funny part is, you know, think of it in terms of, you know, hardware stores. You know, there are big box stores, and they train their employees, and you know, you gotta love them because they really do make an effort to have their employees, you know, give that that wonderful face and so forth. But there's only so much you can do. And as a customer, you'll grab the things in the store, and due to resources, you may not have been able to find somebody in the store. So, or maybe you did. They're going to try and be as helpful as possible, but they can only help so much. And then you go to the cash register, and that cashier very politely and very wonderfully is going to turn to you and say, "Did you get everything you need today?" Now, think about that question for a second. Because how do you know you got everything you need?
Good point.
You don't. And the funny part is, so now you take that and let's turn that in on itself. So now you come to the local hardware store. So they know your house. They buy it. You know, they know you. They know your family. So you go in and you buy, you know, some duct tape or something like that. And that cashier, once again, is going to ask that same question. Did you get everything you need today? And even if you answer, yes, I got everything I need today. That cashier can turn to you and say, no, you didn't. You still got to work on that chimney. You know, and that's really kind of, you know, what local is all about, because they're watching out for you. They know what you need to work on. They understand your needs to a degree that maybe even you yourself aren't really prepared to, you know, to understand at that point in time. That's what local is all about. Everybody watching out for one another.
It's got a great finesse to it.
Yep.
And it brings out the community, and the community just breathes with functionality where people just enjoy their businesses and they enjoy the camaraderie, and especially the events. It just brings it all together.
It's a different level of relationship. And you know, and the funny part is, if you think about it, today's world is really driven by social media. You've got Facebook, you've got Twitter, and if I need something, I'll just go check it out on the internet. And we get, or at least, you know, certain demographics.
That's another thing.
Yeah, or you order.
You buy it
online.
And
you get so used into that repetition of never having that human contact, you almost forget what that relationship is about. And then when you get to your local store and you shop locally, and you actually go to the stores on Main Street or just off of Main Street, and you patronize these stores, you know, and you work with them. It's at a different level. It's something that, you know, you're not used to because of the way society has moved.
It's special.
Yeah,
it really is special.
And you feel that way. You walk out of there feeling like, wow, I just made friends. That's what that's all about. And I didn't even have to click a button.
Exactly.
Or when just the basics of when you come down to Main Street and you're waving to people and saying hi because everybody knows you. I mean, it's great to have a small town like that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
And it does overlap into the businesses and the way that people run the businesses.
I've always noticed this about something like Facebook. It has a like button, but it doesn't have a help button.
Or an unlike, I mean, a do not like button.
Yeah. Well, the thing with that is, you can go downtown and, hey, how you doing? Yep, there's my like. But at the same time, hey, I've got a party coming up. Can I have you come over and help hand out some candy? Absolutely. That's help. That's real.
Goffstown Main Street has always had its built-in like button. How can you not like the folks of Goffstown Main Street, really?
They take everybody out from
You can't.
things, and then you go to
Not
make
like
one
them.
for somebody who is showing up.
Speaking of
you're gonna
liking
bring
Main Street
to
or not
them,
liking Main Street,
we
your
have-
predecessor was here for many, many years and well liked in the community. So those are some hard shoes to
So
fill.
I think.
I don't know if I want to fill those shoes. The reality is, her heels are a little bit uncomfortable for me. So I'm going to put on my own shoes and walk my own walk. But the reality is,
As they come in.
the Goffstown Main Street program, one of the aspects of our mission is really about the history of the town and also revitalization. So with that, and Robbie has done a wonderful job over the course of the last more than decade. And when I look at my position moving into the future, to ignore what has happened in the past is I'm doing the town a disservice. And I've already had conversations with her in which I've been able to invite her out to coffee and vice versa. She's looking forward to having coffee with me at some point in the future. We're going to probably do that sometime after the pumpkin regatta. And we're just going to build a friendship and move forward. And as I move forward, look to her, to find out what her experiences were, and at the same time find our new path and as to what it's going to be. So yes, the program is probably going to go through a few bumps and a few changes over the next year or two, but at the same token, it's still going to be the same program that it was. It's something that it existed, it was successful. We should continue on that path, but at the same time, there are also moving into the future new opportunities. And for us to ignore those new opportunities or not explore them or even be willing to make a mistake or two along the way. That would also be doing the town a disservice. So that's really what we're all about. Is Robbie's done a wonderful job, and hopefully 10 years down the line somebody will be saying the same thing about me.
Is the thing
Now,
open at the top?
let's talk about Goffstown Main Street and the volunteers. Do you know about how many volunteers there are right now?
No, I don't know how many there are right now, but what I can tell you is we need more. Please, volunteer.
What are we looking for next weekend, the weekend of the 18th and 19th?
I know we do have several positions, both Saturday and Sunday, that we do need filled. So if there's anybody that is available right away, wants to make an instant impact, show their kids what it's like to be part of a community event, this is a great opportunity. Feel free to give the office some contact, whether it be a phone call or email or just dropping by. But we're also talking about not only just for the events and needing a few volunteers for that, but we're also talking about folks that are willing to be on the board of directors, folks that are willing to put on events at certain times of the year, people who are looking to continually volunteer, or somebody who's just looking to help out once in a while for a specific event. And we have many levels of needing volunteers, and each and every one of those levels, as the nature of an organization like this, never has enough people to do the job that we always want to do. And as people approach us and say, you know what you could have done, you know what you should have done, and that sort of thing, it all comes down to resources and what we have available to us. And the more resources we have available, and the more volunteers we have interested in helping us out, the more we can do. And the more we're able to do those things that, end up shoulda, couldas, actually could end up, things that actually get done.
Right, you would have, if you got them.
Now, is there a place on the website where volunteers can sign up?
The best thing to do is go right to the, on the website is the information, info at the organization. and by sending an email right to that's coming directly to me, and I'll be able to answer that directly.
Yes. Well, you gotta go to base table.
So that's the easiest way there must be a, is there a form you have to fill out?
No form. It's very much, and actually,
Just let you know.
absolutely, absolutely. And tell me what you're interested in. Tell me what you want to do. You know, and I tell this story, and I think it's a fabulous story, and I think it's really something that we here in Goffstown can really build upon. Is I was doing some work with a children's home in Nashville, and there was a board of director there, and they were looking for new ideas, and just literally in a moment where people were just quiet and trying to think of what can we do to raise money and funds and help out the kids and things like that. Guy just blurts out hockey. I like hockey. Just blurts it out.
Thank you, Sean.
Well, folks, thanks for having me here, and it was my pleasure.
Thank you everyone for watching. I think we hit a home run today for a number of reasons. And batter number 1 is up at the plate, and there's no worry, he's a home run at the same time. So we welcome Sean Sullivan to the community. I'd like to thank Jerry and Sean, from myself, for spending some time with us to meet our new director at the Goffstown Main Street program. Take care.